So, just got off the phone with a colleague of mine, and I thought it best to actually come and speak about this. A very good friend of mine who's currently in China. So, I want to title this video "Why You Should, if you want to make money, do business in Africa." First of all, who am I and why should you care? I'm African first and foremost. And secondly, it's like currently I'm in the US doing my master's. I'm in New York. No, I'm in New Jersey. I started from New York. So I'm an African first and foremost. I've been in Africa all my life. I grew up, born and raised, and I've been in business for most of my life. Not successfully, I would admit, but I've been trying to chase money most of my life. But you know the whole saying, life doesn't begin until you're 40. I didn't have any inheritance. I didn't have any guidance, any mentor. It was just a kid who was raised by people who weren't even his parents, who grew up in the ghettos and the villages of Africa. Luckily, went to a good school and who started doing business. I had my first employee when I was in high school. I formed that was my first business, my first official stand. It was a small chapati food stand. I formed many of those, employed many of those throughout the time, but that was in high school. I actually, there was a printing business somewhere in vacation. I formed my first company, was in uni, ran that for 12 years, worked across different sectors, food, tech. That was the company. I'm a tech com science profession by profession. That's what I studied. My graduate is in data analytics. My undergrad is in information systems. My graduate is from New York. My undergrad is from Uganda. But the business it started out as a tech company that transitioned into a branding company, a printing company, a procurement company in the end. I've done ventures in microfinance, that's money lending back home. I've done ventures in logistics, in events. I've co-founded events that are still running. Festivals, events, I don't know what to call them. So basically, I've tried to look for ways of been chasing money. And remember, I used to tell myself part of the reasons why I came here is I've been chasing money all my life. And when you've been chasing money since you are like, I don't know, how old was I in third, four? Since you're like 12, you kind of get to know what works, what doesn't work, not in the, and I don't know how to say it, but I've been chasing money all my life. I remember I used to to sell CDs and band music on CDs when I was earlier high school, like the first year of high school. My first employee was in my fourth year of high school. The food stand that, but before then, of course, I was doing things. So this journey I've been on, you get to know first of all where a lot of money is and where the sustainable, stable money is. I don't know if the volume will be seen on this thing if I hold it here. So it will be hard. But anyway, if you want to make money, go into the African market. Why? I don't know any other market on this planet, apart from the African and some of Asia's markets, where you can go to China, buy something for $1 and go sell it for $50. Like, the profit margins are insane. And this is not theory. This is not wishes, and these are things that I know people who are doing them. I've seen people doing them. I'm from talking to people who are doing them. I've tried to do them. I've never been to China, but before coming for my undergrad, that was my plan to go to China and actually. So for my graduate, that was my plan to go to China and actually start doing that. So the market is new. There's so many things they don't have. There's so many things that they are not even aware of yet. Some companies are freshly new. You have countries like South Sudan, which are not even like 12 years. I think by now they are 12 years, which are not even more than 20 years old as a country. You have, and it's a big country with oil-rich nations and a population that's already 12 million after just, and that was after 3 years of existence. There were 12 million. Right now, there should be way more. So the market is there. The market may not be as empowered as, let's say, the Western markets, may not have as much purchasing capacity as the Western markets, but they do buy things, they do need things. FMCGs move very fast. Those fast consumer moving goods, I think that's what FMCG stands for. They move very fast. Those things move very fast. The market is not as empowered. Like, they won't buy the $20,000 things. That anything above $200 is not something that you're going to move very fast. Anything above $50 is not something you won't move very fast, unless it's for business purposes, for business reasons. When you're selling, you're doing B2B, you're selling business to business. Those maybe you move fast, but B2C, direct consumer, you're looking at things that are $1 and below. But even that, I don't know any other market where I'm going to buy something at, let's say, $0.1 plus shipping, logistics, taxes, and everything. The cost of production will end up in like $0.5, and I'm going to sell that thing at $1.5. That's like $1 margin. That's what, 75%? No, it's actually 150% margin. Like, I don't know any other market that actually does that. And that's the whole of Africa. That's most of Africa. That's why the Chinese market is booming. The colleague that I've just spoken to is currently in China, and he meets people who tell him that if you're in business in China and you don't have a shop in Africa, you're just playing games. That's how serious that market is. It's a serious market. And China knows this. China is producing things for that market easily and fast and in bulk. I think China got where it is mainly because of Africa. Yes, they do things for the US and America and Europe and all these things, but Africa is what it's best started on. Because yes, phones were taking off, but they were doing Chinese phones and taking them to Africa and selling those same phones for, the knockoff things, which is what China was known for. Those things were not being consumed by the West. They're being consumed by Africa and some parts of Asia. You see. So if you want to make fast, big, real money, go to the African market. Let me give you a scenario. Let's say you're in any industry. Let's take the printing, branding, outdoor advertising industry. Okay. You're going to go and buy, let's say, the printing ink. You're going to buy some ink at $1, and you're going to go to Africa and sell that same ink at $50. You see, you're going to buy, let's take the clothing industry. You're going to buy a pack of ladies, let's say, leggings or men's vests. You're going to buy a whole pack of 25 pieces, let's say 24 pieces, 2 dozen. Let's say take a dozen pieces. You're going to buy it at, let's say, $5, and you're going to sell that same pack. Actually, you're going to sell each piece at $5. Again, these are not theories. This is real practical stuff. People doing this, people are out there, they are moving, they are actually in the market. These are numbers from what's on ground. And I know you're thinking taxes and and shipping. This is Africa. Those things don't really, it's a market where nothing works and nothing is like, okay, things work, but not really to that much. So you're going to ship the shipping people. Let's take if you're shipping things to South Sudan. I worked in South Sudan before, Juba. I've worked in Uganda before. I'm from Uganda originally, but I've worked in South Sudan before. Let's take such a market, new, fresh, why should I around the block? New, fresh, not so stable. The currencies give and take, but the main you operate on dollars. So you're going to take, let's take a power bank, a simple power bank of 10,000 milliamps. Okay. You're going to take that, you're going to buy that. And again, that's not a fast moving consumer good, but let's take it as an example. You're going to buy such a thing at, let's say, $10 in China. You're going to sell it in Africa for about $70, $50. Okay. Let's even be generous. Let's say you're going to sell it for just you're making 100%. You're selling it for $20. Okay. Shipping wise, you're going to people sell them in square meters. They'll tell you, oh, just pay for a square meter, and the square meter can be like $350. They don't care what you're putting in the square meter, and it's like really, really heavy. But usually, just they're selling you a square meter. Okay. In that square meter, I don't know how many flash disks or how many power banks or how many toners or how many vests you can fit in a square meter. For scale, a square meter is like if you stretch out your hand. You see, if you stretch out, let me try this. You stretch out your hand from the middle of your chest to where your hand stops. I'm a very tall guy, but that's roughly the size of a square meter from the middle to the end of your arm. Okay, from like here to here. That's roughly the size of a square meter. So one down, one to the side, one down. That's 1, 1, 1. That's a square meter, basically. I was working in printing and whatever for a while, and you have to calculate things in square meters, but that's a square meter roughly. So for that size, and then take that up as well. So you're in 1, 1, 1, 3-dimensional space. For that size, the amount of things you can pack in that size. Okay, and that $350 includes taxes, clearance. That I just pay them $350, they'll tell you where to go and pick your things. That's it. You don't have to worry about anyone else. The things that you can pack in that square meter. I don't know what industry you're in. Take any industry, clothing, tech, technology, gadgets and stuff, printing, food, toys, shoes, any industry that you're in. Maybe shoes may be a bit bulky and some goods may be bulky, but let's take what moves fast. Let's take clothing doesn't even move as fast. Makeup, that moves fast. Okay, how many lipsticks can you fit in? It's raining in that square meter of space. You see, lipstick packets actually at that rate you're working at packets. How many can you fit in that space? And then get to know that for all those, whatever it is you're fitting, for taxes and shipping and logistics and everything, you're paying $350, a bulk figure, one figure that I'm paying my $350 and I'm done. Okay. And then you pack in how many lipsticks you want. You're probably going to buy each piece of lipstick at, let's say, let's be generous, $0.5. It's going to be way less. It's going to be way, way less. But let's take $0.5 each piece. And plus shipping, if you to account, they break it down for whatever. Let's say you've added $0.1 for the cost and you're in $0.6. You're going to sell that lipstick at, let's say, $1, which I don't know in lipstick. But let's be generous. You're selling it at $1. That's $0.4 markup on each piece. And that's me being generous. Of course, the numbers are better than that, higher than that, depending on the market you're entering. But that's just to give you an example of the numbers and how the African market works. Things move. People make money insanely. The only problem is, but anyway, before I go there, that's the African market for you. People make money. The only problem with Africa is the disparity in that the people who make money make a lot of money, and then the rest are poor, you see, but they are the clients. So if you really want to make money, if you're on the business side of things, I would honestly say Africa is the market to go into. It's not saturated. Whatever it is you're doing, whatever it is you're trying, at whatever stage you enter, you probably have the market. Most likely, you may be, even if it's new tech and it's new, may be the first one. But there's no that they have too much of this or too much of that or too much of. It's not that. It's not like the West where right now I can't enter. I don't know the I don't know what to do. Let's take the soda industry. I can't enter that because Pepsi has been here for a while. I can't, there are so many monoliths in Europe and the West that you can't shake. You see, but Africa, you can just come in today, you're the first. May not even be the first, but you still have a market. There are no monoliths. There's no, I am the guy dominating the whole market for the rest of my life and you can't even shake me. Those things, they don't exist. Because people go with what's available first and foremost. I always tell people, if you want to do business, just first of all, in Africa, build something, produce something, and then secondly, get it to the people. Because first, we don't buy brands, we buy what's available and what's cheap. I want to buy Aliupo speakers, not because it's the best, but because it's what the store has and can get the job done. I'm not going to go out of my way to look for Sony. First of all, I know I can't afford Sony, and secondly, Sony may not be in my shops. You see, that's just a general overview of the market. So whatever it is you're doing, the only industry I know that may not do so well is the services industry, your banking. But even those, they still have so many problems for you to fix. But just that the return on those may be too slow, first of all, because services, people can forego those. You're going to open up a bank and someone will be like, no, I'm good with mobile money. I'm good with working with cash. I'm good with working with M-Pesa, money on my phone, kind of thing. So the services industry is kind of tricky. Apps, this new app solves this problem. We are not yet there because those problems don't really bother us. We have bigger problems. We have bottom of the Maslow's hierarchy problems. So if you can enter in that space, in that angle, in that, there you make money. You will actually legitly make money. There was a FedEx truck. But anyway, that's so let's talk the downsides of this because it's with higher risk comes higher reward. It's a high reward, so that means the risk is also high. And yes, the risk is high. It's unstable security wise. You may bring in your store worth of goods and then some guy just robs it. If you rub the wrong politician the wrong way, may just send a shit ton of soldiers your way and they just confiscate your goods. Like that's the risk. And also the lifestyle. Like, yes, I'll just give you some numbers. If a friend is going to China with 10K USD and they're going to buy goods that can make him 70K. Everything else considered. Bare minimum 70K. You see. So that's the kind of math you're looking at. But what does that come with? You're living in an environment with, unstable electricity, unstable water supply, unstable infrastructure, unstable political climate, and unstable, so many unstable things. That's the downside. That yes, you have 70K, but you have 70K in a country where you can't be like, oh, let me go watch an IMAX movie. That's the downside. In that, yes, you may make the money, but there's nothing. I remember one of the things that made me leave South Sudan is me realizing that you can be making the money and not enjoying the money. Like, it's not about, because there's money in South Sudan. There's insane money. It's an unstable economy, so money moves fast. There's insane money, but you don't really have the life. You can't go to a club and enjoy your money. You can't. People do, but you can't really be like, oh, let me go see this or do that. Like, there's nothing versus, let's say, New York. In New York, I'll be like, oh, let me go to the National Museum and let me go see a parade. Let me go, there's things to do. There's things to do to enjoy your money. So, because otherwise, why are you making the money? But in most African countries, not really. Like, there'll be the basics of one, two, let me go let me go watch a movie, let me go watch a movie, let me go, I don't know, swimming, let me go to the beach. But there's not really any, I don't know, the extent to which you can enjoy those things is a bit limited. That's all I can say about that. So with every good thing comes its risks, comes its fuckery, I guess. So that's the one thing. The lifestyle is not really that well built. The infrastructure is not really that well built. You'll be in places and you have no self coverage. The internet is shit and slow. The roads are shit and slow. The cars are, so that. But in terms of just pure raw making money, and you also have to be there for your business. It's not the kind where you're going to go set up shop and come back to your America and chill. No, you have to be on ground because the labor is a bit slow. The people are a bit slow. The people are a bit shady. I'm not going to leave my shop in the care of someone and just, go. Let's say if I'm here in America and I want to invest in Africa and I get 10K and I take it to China, go buy goods worth 10K, send the container to South Sudan or Uganda or Congo, wherever, and then the container reaches, and and everything can be automated, and the shop people will pick it up and they'll sell it and get me my money. No, that doesn't happen. You have to be on ground, because if you're not on ground, people will steal your things. You have to be there when you're picking your container. You have to be there when you're selling those goods to the customer, or you have to get really trustable people. You have to be on ground to establish the system, or at least know someone that you trust enough to run that system for you, which is a hard thing. Hard. After that, spent life with this person, or really known them for so long and so well, which that's the only hard part. Like, getting into the market is really, really tricky. It's not like America, where there are systems, or most Europe or whatever, where there are systems that I can just show up, register something, and I'll hire someone who has integrity or whatever. And like, there's certain cushions and systems and certain things you may not have to worry about, and tech that can track or whatever. It's not like that per se. So that's the hard part. You have to be on ground. You have to run things manually, and on ground means you're living in a place with most likely no constant electricity, with there's those rich places that you can live in, but you still have to interact with your environment. You still have to drive to the shops, which you're interacting with people who may not be that well. It's a bit shaky. It's a bit touch and go. I don't know, whatever that means. So that's a reality that's not going away. But with higher risk comes higher reward. So, but it's a kind of market where you can go to China, get things of 10K, go to Africa, sell those things at 70K, and make your 60K difference in like 3 months. That legit can happen. That legit happens. Not even can happen. Legit happens. I know someone's going to do it now. And I know if I also went, so that can happen. That does happen. And I don't know any other market that does that. So if you're just about pure raw making money, insane, whatever, go to Africa. That's there's insane money there. It's insane money there. And especially if you know a bit, if you're a bit exposed and you know some things, because most people don't know things. Even the businessmen who are there, they've never traveled, they don't know most things. Okay, most businessmen have actually traveled, but most people have not traveled, most people have not, So you may have that advantage that you know things, you're faster, you think faster, you think a certain way, you see the world a certain way, you problem solve differently, you problem solve better. So that may be helpful in that you may have that edge over the locals when it comes to running business, first of all, managing the business, first of all, making sure the business works. And, because it's another thing to start a business, it's also a whole other thing to actually maintain it and know what to do. That's the problem I saw when I was that side. Been in business all my life, I'd never been employed in Africa. But when you doing business right, is also something people don't know what to do. They start businesses, they start things, they the thing grows, it's big, the guy makes money, but he doesn't know what to do after that. He doesn't know how to scale, he doesn't know how to sustain. They don't know that, okay, this business is now big enough, let me hire real people to take care of it. No, they still want to control the thing themselves. Someone told me it's called strongman syndrome. And of course, it makes sense. If our leaders are strong man in the seats, we have dictators, they've been on power for 40 years, and you have grown up seeing that. So, of course, you also think maybe that's how the world works, and you'll have the same problem that it's my business. I know I won't hand it to anyone or have anyone running. But also the other side that finding someone to trust and someone to run it well for you without robbing you, because at least where I'm from, there's this thing of an employee can only work for you for 2 years if you're in private business, at most 2 years, because they'll study your business, get to learn your business, and then start a thing of their own. Like I was in the printing business for a while. Someone will come work for you, learn your business flow, learn your supply flow, get their own clients, and before you know it, they've started their own thing and they've quit. So yeah, people are entrepreneurial. It's also a survival tactic that they need to, so that they. But that is also partly a problem and also an advantage, depending on how you look at it. Man, I don't want this video to go on for so long but for real, if one makes serious insane money, there's nowhere enough in the world where you're going to buy something $50 and go sell it $200. Everything else considered. There's nowhere in the world where you're going to go to China and buy something $0.2 and go sell it $5. I don't. Buying something $5 and you're selling it $50. All these things I'm telling you are real things that someone has told me they have bought, and they know how much they've been buying them back home. Because if I'm in the industry and I know what the price of the thing I buy, I buy this thing at $50 every day, and then I go to China and find out, wait, this thing is actually $2. that's that's the reality of. Then that takes time. Also, it takes a lot of effort to know. You're not just going to walk into there and know that, oh, this costs 50, this costs 20, this costs, let me go to China and get it for 0 point. You're not going to do that in a day. The people I'm telling you about who are doing this have been in the business for years and years. It's all they do. They've transcended different sectors. They've created different products and marketed and branded and pushed those products. Some businesses have failed, some are still thriving. They've done businesses in different countries. Like it's a journey. It's a process. You're not going to get that knowledge, that skill, that expertise, that confidence in a day. But I'm telling you, if you do, and if you see it, and when you see it, it's amazing. That's why the people who are rich that side are really, really rich. I'm talking from a business perspective. I'm not talking the whole, be a cement mogul or be a whatever mogul. I'm talking a normal businessman, middleman, trader, who's buying things from here, getting them, selling them here, who's doing this like normal businessman, middleman, entrepreneur kind of thing. But yeah, if you want to make money, insanely serious money, insane margins, go to China and then go to Africa. Go to China and take whatever you get from there to Africa. You will make money, like for reals. It's even stupid. Bye.